Hello, my name is Eric Strauss, and I'm making this video to speak to any after-school owners or tutoring center owners who may have spoken with us or otherwise received information about this. It is designed to provide you information on how you can use speech and debate in your after-school program in order to maximize profits and improve education for your students. Also, make yourself much more marketable. So first, zero, let's talk about what debate is and why it's the best. Debate is, in fact, the best way to educate children in an open systems subject matter. So this is not necessarily true for math or physics, but it is true for open systems, which is to say systems for which the truth value of a given statement is contingent upon contextual factors other than concrete laws of physics kind of things. So in those situations, which is everything, basically all your liberal arts, your literature, your economics, your psychology, all that stuff, the best way to teach it, frankly, is debate. And the reason is this. The mechanism that produces motivation adequate and that produces consequences adequate to compel students to actually find out what they need to learn and why they need to learn it and how they need to learn it and what they use it for, in order to accomplish that in an open systems model and to actually have them understand and apply their knowledge and learn fast. You've got to learn fast, right? There's no reason to take a long time to learn something. Anyway, if you want to accomplish all those goals, you cannot compare student results to a static model. You can't say, here's the standard, you failed to meet the standard. Rubrics don't work. What does work is comparison against other students. A preference model. Paired preferences. Okay? Student A, student B. Which essay is better? Okay, fine. Student C, student D. Now let's do student A, student C. You do one-on-one competitions between the essays, and you'd be able to find out quite definitively which the best essay in the class is, provided you had a sufficient pool of judges and there wasn't bias. Now, if a classroom were modeled like that, and essays were written like that, and judged like that, then you'd have accurate assessments, and you'd have a real curve, right? Here's the best, second best, third best. You'd have ranks. Ranks are much, much more meaningful than grades, because a grade is arbitrary. Teacher A might think it's an A. Teacher B might think it's a B. Teacher C might think it's an A too for some reason. Who knows? The point is, it doesn't represent your actual acquisition of knowledge in any meaningful way. And there's no way to test that with standardized testing or any other methodologies to be used. The only way to test it is, in fact, competition. Because a competition doesn't compare it against a standard, so we don't have to worry about inadequacies of a static standard, which is inevitably inadequate in an open system, because open systems are by definition not static. So as a consequence, we need a competition model in which we can evaluate merit in those systems that is meaningful and that allows the development of identity to be driven by actual results that have meaning rather than by arbitrary scores. Okay, so that's zero. I want you to always remember and come back to this, that the zero-sum nature of debate makes it different than everything else. And the most important way that it's different is it is superior. It is superior to what is being done in every classroom in America in all liberal arts-related education forms, from psychology to economics to literature to potentially even biology. Well, they're probably not for a lot of it. There's a lot of closed systems aspects to biology, like anatomy and stuff. At any rate, the point is, it is substantially better. Now, I'm speaking the truth, and I'm hoping you're starting to believe me because I'm pretty convincing and I sound like I know what I'm talking about. But for you to really believe me, and for you to buy into what I'm telling you, you need to see us demonstrate a lesson. We're happy to come in and demo. Give us a group of kids, give us an hour, give us half an hour. What you will see will make you question everything that you've done heretofore education-wise, unless you have a debate background. The old status quo, number one. Only high schools could compete, and after-school programs couldn't really compete with them. We weren't allowed to compete on a level playing field. We were allowed to provide services to their students, but they wouldn't be able to compete under our names. So it made it very limited revenue capacity for after schools. In the new model, we have the addition of middle school and elementary school debate. Now, the nice thing about middle school and elementary school debate is that they really started getting serious about 8 years ago, which happens to coincide with when I started becoming a middle school debate coach. And in fact, the elementary school debate that occurs around Southern California is the product of my starting the elementary school invitationals following the NSDA model about 8 years ago, and I've been running them twice a year ever since. And for the first 6 years, I was the only one who was doing them. And then we've got a couple more, and that's fantastic, and it's starting to grow. And I have big plans for, making a point system for elementary, everything. But in order to implement these plans, I need to get these partnerships in place, and I need to start getting some revenue flowing, so I'm going to hire some people to do some tasks, in addition to doing the tasks that I have to do myself, which is get these kids to win. That's my job. That's my number one job, is to get these kids to win. Your kids, everybody's kids. To get everybody's parents, everybody's kids, everybody to do as well as they can, to get better every time. And I want to make these parents, these kids, these administrators, everybody understand what is happening to these children is transformational and remarkable in a way that nothing else in education can even begin to match. Okay, that's what I want to convince everybody of. I'm a preacher for debate. So this new model is great. Now all of a sudden after schools compete on a level playing field. And in fact, we're so deeply embedded in middle school and elementary school debate now, they can't possibly get rid of us. The president of the Southern California Middle School Debate League, which is the biggest league in the country, as far as I can tell, is an after-school guy, Robert Cannon, with Wilshire. Vice President, me, formerly Director of Academic Affairs, Kudos, which was the big juggernaut team. I built it from scratch, ground up, all the program architecture, everything. All the supplementary curriculum, hired the teachers, trained the teachers, hired the coaches, everything. Scheduled stuff, too. Did all that stuff. Did everything. Except marketing. That the owner did. Okay. Now, as far as growth potential, you need to understand something. A critical element in this whole equation is growth potential. If we're talking about high school, it's got some growth potential, continues to grow, but it's limited. Why? Because so many people already do it in high school. Just a narrow fraction of the percentage of people who do it in high school do it in elementary school or middle school. Why? Well, because it's new, it's just getting started. But if you look at the growth arc, it is absolutely booming. When I began with that middle school league, was, once a quarter, after school, speech and debate combined, 4-hour tournament, 50 kids maybe. Now, it's enormous, and the level of debate is incredibly high. When I first started, I could win with, teams that weren't very good. No chance of that now, I tell you. The competition out there is fierce. And it's still only middle school. It's not as fierce as high school. Elementary school, you're really quite golden still, right? The competition's easy. There aren't very many people competing, but it too is growing, and it's growing fast. And I got Eastman Elementary just called me, and I got them in place. Well, everything's coming together. And frankly, I'm a fairly central player in a lot of it. I'm involved with the state board as well for middle school. I'm buddies with Karina, who's the Northern California state person. It's me and Robert and Karina, and we're friends. We're all friends. We also happen to be at the forefront of the people in charge, basically, to the extent that anybody's in charge. Nobody really is, but the people who have influence and make decisions of middle school and elementary school debate at the state and national level, as well as the local level. We're the people you want to work with. We're the people who can get things done, and we're the people who know how to win. We're the people who've been around for a while and have networked. We're the people who have all of the connections. That's who you want to work with. That's me. So, I don't want to brag, but this is kind of like a job interview or something, I guess. It's like a consulting thing, or we should work together, or trust me, this is a good idea. I don't know what else to call it. Proposal? Pitch? I don't know. So, number 3. Types of program architecture. You don't have to run straight competition teams. You don't want to. There's multiple program architectures. You could do a levels type curriculum where you have prerequisites. That's what I put together at Kudos, and it worked pretty well. We had full survey classes, level 1 survey classes, where they weren't competing. They were just learning the basics, quote unquote. We also had a level 2 class for remedial students. But I kept saying, if we're going to have this, we need to call it that. And, my boss saw it as an opportunity to squeeze money unnecessarily from people, which I didn't like, but, I made the curriculum. I feel bad about even making it. Should have just said no, but whatever. Sometimes you just do things you don't want to do because your boss tells you to. Anyway, I'm not going to make that again, though. I'm not making any more levels curriculum, because the best thing you can possibly do is put the kid directly into competition. I strongly recommend you start competition squads and make them go directly into competition. Parents are fearful. They think that they can somehow prepare their kids for competition if they just put them on enough time before the first competition. Not going to happen. You can't prepare for the first competition. Your job in the first competition is to lose, and lose badly, and come out of it, and then you're a debater, and you can start to win. So, there's no point in any sort of introductory class. But if you want to do it, it's a possible option. Other possible program architectures include dividing the classes by age group, elementary, middle school, high school. I combine middle school and high school and do the following option instead. Combine them by ability level, so you have JV, varsity, novice, if you need 3 levels. Elementary, you still have to separate out by its age group. Another possible option, you can separate out by event. Interp, each of the flow debates, no prep events, writing events. That if you want to include a lot of speech. You could additionally do it out by. Is that it? Was that the other one I had on my list? I think that's it. There's a couple other ways you can do it. I mean, if you want to talk to me about program architecture possibilities, you can schedule a consulting time with me. I'd be happy to consult with you and give you a full breakdown of all this stuff if you want. I can even write you up a report or something. If you want to hire me to do that, I'd be happy to do it. You have to pay me something. I'm not sure how much. Talk to Kimball. About us, I did. Told you about us. I told you about. Okay, so anyway, look. The whole thing is this. You can make money on the tournament competition team classes. You can do 7 sessions or whatever. You can add Skype sessions with the coaches. You can make money on the tournaments if you want. Say, okay, well, you're going to go to the tournament with us. It's going to cost an additional this much money. Well, you should basically make them go to the tournaments if you can. See, that's what they need to do to get better. That's the important thing, right? What you get in exchange for running this debate program is you realize, wow, this thing really sells with parents if you get them to sit down and watch what's happening. Because anybody who watches what's happening can see in a heartbeat. They are not learning at 1/10, not 1/20th the rate in their regular day school classes. Not even close. I promise, if you watch, you'll believe me. So, get parents in there. This is the thing the debate offers you. A truly good product that's worth the money. You don't have to convince anybody because of its spit and polish. You say, here are the results from the last tournament. Look what we did. Look what the other group did. Whose team do you want to be on? Right? It sells itself if you win. Now, the other thing is this. You can also market my name, right? So, I'm Eric Strauss, and I've come to believe, I think, with some good cause, that if you happen to be in this small demographic of middle school speech and debate people, or if you happen to be in the small demographic of parents of students, especially Chinese students, who are looking for a meaningful thing for their kids to do, you're very familiar with Eric Strauss's name, probably, if you're in this general area and stuff. I mean, I'm saying it's a small pond, okay? I'm not saying I'm some important president of the United States guy. What I'm saying is, I am a big fish in a small pond, but this small pond is full of money.